You might be thinking, what is going on in the United States? And should I study there after the COVID-19 pandemic? Well, I have 3 simple questions for you to help you determine if you should come to the United States after the COVID-19 pandemic. So if you answer yes to all 3 of these questions, then yes, you should absolutely come to the United States to study. But if you answer no to one of these questions, then you really need to analyze and think really hard about if this is the right decision for you. But first, before I dive into these questions, let me give you some background on why these 3 questions are very important. Also, before I get started with our 3 questions, if you haven't done so yet, please make sure that you subscribe to International Student Voice so that way you don't miss any videos we have talking about scholarships, resources, and anything else that is going to be helpful for you studying in the United States. So make sure that you hit the subscribe button right now. It just takes literally 2 seconds to do. First of all, I decided to make this video because I recently watched a webinar where we had all of these top university officials having a panel discussion with the topic being regaining the public's trust in universities. And it's a topic because it seems like because of COVID-19, a lot more people are asking, am I getting what I'm paying for? Are institutions, universities, doing their best job in providing me a quality education, and are universities making decisions for my best interest, not for their best interest or their bottom line of their budgets? So a lot of people are starting to question because a lot of professors had to make some quick shifts, putting out all of their content online. Were some experiences great? Maybe not. But it has a lot more people asking, what am I getting from this university education? So there's a lot more pressure on universities to deliver quality education more efficiently and more effectively. But the truth of the matter is, and what this panel all agreed, and which I agree, is that students have been asking these questions well before COVID-19. Am I getting a quality education? Am I getting what I am paying for? So COVID-19 or not, the pandemic will go away. We have vaccines. They're coming. I think we will get back to the way things were. But pandemic or no pandemic, these 3 questions I'm going to provide you are going to stay the same. So if you can answer these 3 questions, then you will have your answer if you should come to the United States to study at a university. Okay, so the first question that you need to ask yourself is, are you passionate enough to study in the United States? And I don't mean passionate like it's not a cop-out. It's not about, okay, yes, I know that I need to know what I'm passionate about. We're talking about the rest of my life here. But it's more than just having a passion for what you're studying. Are you passionate enough that no matter what happens to you, that you're going to stick it through? The fact of the matter is you're going to face a lot of obstacles that you would never face back home in your home country. So, for example, what if a family member gets sick and you can't travel back home to see them? What if you're on Instagram and you see a bunch of your friends together taking pictures, having a great time, and obviously you're not there? These might not sound like a big deal right now, but they can be extremely emotional and frustrating once you're actually in that situation. So are you passionate enough about what it is that you want to accomplish, that you're willing to sacrifice a lot? You are basically leaving a life behind to come here in pursuit of your dreams, which can be a beautiful yet emotional experience. So are you passionate enough that you're going to do whatever it takes to make sure that you accomplish your goals? Okay, so if you answered yes to the first question, let's move on to the second question, which is, are you comfortable asking questions? Another truth of the matter is no one's going to be here to ask questions for you. So maybe not be comfortable, but you need to realize that you have to ask the questions. And I'll admit, this is something that even a lot of US American students, or maybe just people in general, have a problem doing, is asking questions. But again, no one's going to be here to ask the questions for you. So you, especially as an international student, need to be thinking and questioning, thinking about the information you're receiving and asking questions. So looking at the information that you're receiving, thinking critically about it, and what questions do you have? This is especially important, for example, when it comes to immigration. So there are a lot of things that international students need to make sure they're paying attention to, so nothing goes wrong with the status of being in the United States. The good news is that you have immigration advisors at your university or college to help you with this, but there's a lot of students. You need to make sure that you are paying attention to your own immigration status. So it's always good to think ahead, ask questions, and that's just the nature of being an international student, is that you're going to be facing things that maybe your US American friends aren't facing. So you need to be able to ask questions, make sure that you have all the information that you need, and to plan ahead. Okay, so if you answered yes to the last question, you will be able to, maybe if you're not comfortable, but you say, yes, I know that I need to be able to ask questions for myself. If you answered yes, then we can move on to the last question. And maybe the hardest question of all for some is, the question is, do you really need a degree to do what it is that you want to do? So going back to earlier in this video about trust in higher education, and what the COVID-19 pandemic has really uncovered, again, is this return on investment. Am I getting the education? Am I becoming a better person? Am I getting the knowledge required to do what it is that I want to do? Now, for some, absolutely, you need to go to a university, you need to get a degree. You might need to get several degrees, depending on what it is. But for some, you really need to think about, is this the best decision for me? Do I really need this piece of paper, this credential to do what it is that I want to do? Now, some people may say the return on investment of education, going to a university or college, especially in the United States, is the experience. You gain knowledge, you become a better person by what you learned in the classroom, by the interactions that you have. And I totally agree with that. But an example that I have when it comes to return on investment is, think about you're at home and you have to commute to work and it's an hour away from your house. So do you want a car that is great, has great gas mileage, is environmentally friendly, to make sure that you can make it from your house to work? That's an hour drive. And then of course you have to come back. So you're doing a 2-hour commute every day. What type of car are you going to get? Now, what if you're at home and your work is only a 20-minute walk away? Do you even need a car? Maybe you can just walk. That's the return on investment that I'm talking about. So if you don't need the car, you can walk. Why buy the car? And who's to say on that walk you can't listen to an audiobook? You can stop and have conversations and meet new people along the way. There's still opportunities for you to gain knowledge, become a better person, especially now. There's so much information. There's so many ways to access knowledge online and different ways to meet people. And that's where we circle back to what is the higher education is taking another turn about the quality of education and what they're offering to students moving forward. So I ask that you really need to have an idea of what your end goal is to determine if coming to the United States and studying and making a significant investment in money and time is going to bring you that return on investment. So what is your end goal? Or I say, where is your work? Where is your commute? Like in my analogy. And if you need to study in the US at a university to get what you need to get to your end goal, then yes, absolutely. If you're not quite sure, then I would say that's what myself and my team at International Student Voice, part of what we do is we help you figure out, and we want to make sure that you make the best decision. Believe me, I want more people to come to the United States. I want more people to come to the US to study, because it's a great opportunity, of course, to expand your mindset, to learn what it is that you want to do, to meet people from just not the US, but all over the world. And it's a great opportunity. You can see diplomacy really blossom among these interactions. That, to me, is what diplomacy is all about. But if you come to the United States and you have a terrible experience and you don't feel like you got that return on investment, that is definitely not the experience that we want you to have. So it goes back to full circle. Are you passionate enough? Are you comfortable asking questions? And do you really need a degree to do what it is that you want to do with your life? And it's okay if you don't know all the answers to those questions. You can reach out to International Student Voice, myself, our team members, and we're more than happy to walk you through that. So you can click the link below in this description to put in your information. We'll send you an email and we can set something up to help you answer those questions. So I hope you found this video helpful. I hope you'll be reaching out to us so we can talk about your goals and we can help you make the right decisions that are best for you. And if you haven't done so yet, please make sure that you subscribe to our channel. I'll be doing a lot more videos about what it's like to study in the United States, other resources such as immigration, scholarships. So we'll be posting a lot more content. So make sure that you like this video and you subscribe to make sure that you stay up to date.